Hey friends and family and supporters, partners in the gospel. Right now I am standing almost a mile high in the Italian Alps. It's amazing. We had a little free time today, and so we decided to do a little climbing. I want to introduce you to a friend of mine named Robert. I'll take the camera and show you Robert. Robert's working in Italy with OM. Robert, tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing in Italy here.
Yeah, ciao everybody. I'm Robert Vitter, my wife is Laura. We have a 4-year-old Annabella, and our 2-year-old, getting ready to be 2-year-old, is Priscilla, and one on the way.
Awesome.
So we're here in the city of Torre Pellice, and this
I'm going to scan around a little bit as you talk.
Yep. So this is the Val Pellice, which has a
way down there.
Yep. Protestant Christian heritage. It's very strong for Christ, and the city where OM Italy is Bobbio Pellice. And we are here for changing the community, changing lives, and changing the community with sports. Me specifically, my wife is hoping to change the community, change lives and change the community, especially in a retirement home.
Awesome.
And a nursing home.
Wow. And you said this area is strong with the gospel, but most of Italy you said isn't. Or what were you saying about this area being
correct?
Strong?
So this is an area where there was a Protestant Reformation approximately 200 years prior to Martin Luther.
Wow.
So when you think about that, that's hard to believe almost, but it's very true. It's called the Valdensian movement.
Some of you may have read about it in church history.
Yeah, it came through from France into these valleys through the Alps in Italy.
Wow.
Very amazing history.
Tell us a little bit about what Christian life is like here in Italy, in the sense of how much gospel witness is here.
Well,
I mean,
they would tell you, and I would have to agree, it's less than 1% here. So we're talking postmodern Europe. We're talking about an age of complete secularism, humanism, you know, I don't need God. What is this God thing?
Yeah.
Almost to the point that there's no, you know, the youth that are coming up, there's no such thing as God, so to speak, because there's no history that they know of from their family. So it's a very, very scary thing in some ways, and yet you know the Lord has a plan for these people. You know the Lord loves these people.
Yeah.
And so we're excited about the opportunity here.
And the good news is, this is what George always talks about, George Burr. He's always encouraging us in the midst of bad news, even though it's very sad, there's such little gospel witness here. God is doing great things. God is working. We're celebrating 50 years of the Lord working in Italy through OM. And so it's exciting, but at the same time, here I'm going to hand the camera back to you, Robert. At the same time, George and I were talking about this yesterday at the airport, how one of the greatest deceptions amongst Christians in America is that, you know, let's just stay in America, there's a lot of needs there. And you know, there's so many needs in America, why do we want to go to the rest of the world? And George said, here in Italy, there's less than 1% of the gospel witness in, say, Florida, as Robert was saying, such little gospel witness. And so yes, there's needs in America, absolutely. And you know, I'm not denying that, but at the same time, even in Europe, in a place where the gospel used to be, you know, all over the place, even in Europe, such a great need for the gospel. So actually check out George Verwer's blog, his website, georgeverwer.com. Just Google his name, you'll find it. We just made a recent post. I just took a video in Scotland, and there he talks about what's going on in Scotland. And also, if you write to him, email him, he'll send you a free book about what God's doing in Europe. Quick update on myself. I've been traveling with George. It's been about exactly 2 weeks now that I've been traveling with George. Last week was in Scotland. You probably saw the video. This week in Italy. He preached last night. Went very well. He preached this morning. And again, I don't know if I mentioned, we're celebrating 50 years at the OM base here in Italy. So he's preaching at the OM base, which is just down in the valley there. He'll preach again tomorrow morning, then he'll preach again tomorrow night. So far, since I've been with George, hundreds of books have gone out. I would say, I don't even know how many, hundreds. And probably 500, 600, 700 people or so have heard George speak just in the last 2 weeks since I've been here. So God is working, some exciting things are happening, and I'm just excited to have a little free time this afternoon and get to hike with Robert. Thanks, Robert, for sharing this time with me. It's amazing. We're literally hiking the Italian Alps, the same mountain range that Hannibal crossed with the elephants way back you know, you've read it in your history books about Hannibal. So we're here in the Italian Alps, almost a mile up. So thank you for praying. Thank you for supporting me financially and prayerfully. Hundreds of you are behind me, and I feel your prayers every day, and I thank you. I was able to share Christ with a lady on the plane on the way in. Have had opportunities throughout the week and in the past week. So God's working. Keep praying for me and be bold for Jesus Christ. I'll talk to you next time on the next edition of Project Gopher. Love you guys. Bye.